Dr. Ong Kian Ming, Director of the Malaysian Electoral Roll Analysis Project, or Merap. The government claims that Malaysia is a democratic country. One of the key aspects of a democratic country is to have free and fair elections. But without a clean, accurate, transparent and up-to-date electoral roll, it is almost impossible to have free and fair elections. I'm currently doing a comprehensive study on the problems of the electoral roll in Malaysia. Let me give you a concrete example of how a dirty electoral roll can affect elections outcomes. Look around you. There are so many non-Malaysians that are all around you. Many people have said that the electoral roll is not clean. What exactly do they mean by this? One important reason is the presence of many people who are not Malaysians on the electoral roll. Many non-Malaysians have been given fake ICs and put on the electoral roll. This has occurred, for example, in the state of Sabah under Project IC. And we found evidence that this is still going on in Peninsular Malaysia. I will show you evidence of this later. Apart from the fake ICs that we found in Sabah, Merap also found a number of other problems with regard to the electoral roll. For example, a number of voters who were born before the year 1900. Firstly, anyone can check these IC numbers. All you have to do is go to the SPR website at www.spr.gov.my and then click on Semakan Daftar Pemilih, which is checking the voter registration status based on one's IC. You can key in your own IC or you can key in the IC numbers of the examples I'm going to show you now. I'm going to go to the SPR website and I'm going to put in Puan Binti Ahmad IC number. Her IC number is 960412020058, and you can see that the records show that she was born on the 12th of April 1896, and if this voter is still alive today, she would be 116 years old. The second example I want to show to you is that of K. Shaikh Dawood anak lelaki Kalandan Shahid. This person, K. Shaikh Dawood, IC number 980410750573, was born on the 10th of April 1898. He would be 114 years old. Look, I'm not saying that all those voters who are born before 1900 are necessarily dead. But what I'm saying is that the Election Commission has the resources and the data for each of these voters in terms of their addresses and where they are staying, to go down to the ground to verify whether they are indeed dead or alive. And if let's say they are dead, the Election Commission needs to take the necessary steps to delete them from the electoral roll. The larger point is this: if let's say we already have 17 voters who are born before 1900 and are probably dead still on the electoral roll, how many more voters out there in the electoral roll could already have died but are still on the electoral roll and whose identities could be used in the next general election? I think that is the biggest concern for me. I'm going to show you two voters with the exact same name who are registered in the exact same constituency and the same address, but with different IC numbers. And here are the results. You can see two voters by the name of Wong Wai Sing, the same exact name. Both of them are registered in the same exact address, number 22, Block C, Taman Seri Ara, which is in the parliamentary constituency of Parit in Perak. Although their IC numbers are different, one is born in 87, another is born in 1980, which gives us reason to believe that these two are actually the same voters. The first example I'm going to show you is that of David bin Hendrikus. And you'll be able to see that his name is clearly a male name, David bin Hendrikus, but the gender or jantina is given as female. Now, why is this a problem? It is not just a matter of administrative error, but many of the cases of mislabeled gender voters are found in the state of Sabah. And as you know, in the state of Sabah, as I've explained earlier, is the state where the Project IC took place during a time when many foreigners were given fake ICs. The problem with the giving out of these fake ICs is that many of these ICs were later passed on to other individuals, and this is where we see the mislabeling of the gender come in. So this is only the tip of the iceberg in terms of the Project IC project in Sabah, and which we see being repeated here in Peninsular Malaysia as well. I'm going to show you now two voters whose date of birth as indicated in their IC is very different from the date of birth as indicated by the Election Commission records. Once again, we go to Semakan Daftar Pemilih, and when we key in this voter's IC number, we find that this person, instead of being born on the 21st of July 1939, the Election Commission records indicates that this person was born on the 2nd of January 1910. Why such a big discrepancy, where there's no correlation at all between the date of birth as indicated by the IC and the date of birth as indicated by the Election Commission records? Let me show you another example. Here, the IC number is 361121075011, which means that this voter was born on the 21st of November 1936 as indicated by his IC. But when you look at the Election Commission website details, this person seems to have been born on the 8th of April 1962. Again, why is there such a big discrepancy in their date of birth? One serious problem in the electoral roll is the case where you have many voters registered in one address, sometimes even more than 50. What I found when I went into the electoral roll for all the voters in Kampung Melayu Majdi was the following. You can see for voters with complete addresses, including house numbers as well as street names, all these voters had IC numbers that indicated they were born in Malaysia. In addition, I found a lot of voters who were registered in this kampung without any house number and also with no street names. And what is interesting about this particular locality is that all these voters without house numbers or street names had code 71 in their IC addresses, in their IC numbers, which means that these voters were not born in Malaysia, and all these voters were only registered in May and June of 2011. In all, I found 57 new voters who were registered since May 2011 in this particular locality called Kampung Melayu Majdi in Johor Bahru. 55 out of 57 had code 71 in their ICs, and all 55 with code 71 in their ICs do not have house numbers, do not have street names, and all were registered by a government agency with Nombor Siri Borang J, which means that they were not part of the Election Commission.
You are watching Myduriantv.
Rasa sayang, hey rasa sayang, sayang